because lots of people in my family have been divorced, which is the case in virtually every family, and I don't feel like I'm in a position to shake my finger at people and say, you failed, and with more effort you could have succeeded.
You spoke about this last night in relation to relationships, and you said that when you commit to somebody, there is the inevitable pain that any future catastrophe is going to need to be worked out in a difficult way between you and the person that you've committed to, as opposed to you being able to go, oh, well, cool.
I'm out of here.
The side chicks are warm on Tinder in any case, I'm off.
Yeah, right. Well, that was something I really learned from reading Carl Jung. He thought about marriage as, he used alchemical symbolism as purification requires heat and pressure. And so you have a container and it gets hot. And that's when you want to leave. That's when the changes can take place. And sometimes they have to be radical to maintain the relationship. Very radical. But hopefully those radical changes are positive. But what makes you think you'd make them if there wasn't a fire lit under you? And one of the fires is, I can't escape from you. Here we are locked in combat, right? Here we are in this adversarial relationship.
Beneficial adversary.
Yeah, exactly. Beneficial adversary, yeah. There's no out except through. And there's no evidence that through will work. And so that's part of the utility of the vow, is to turn the temperature up. And you could say, well, I'll escape. But the problem with that is, escape to where? You're not going to have another relationship? And if to the degree that you brought the catastrophe to the previous relationship, which is at least a 50-50 probability, right? What makes you think you're not going to bring it to the next relationship?
You're the common denominator between all of the experiences.
That's right. I've had many bad relationships. Like, really? I've never met anyone I can trust. Okay. Everyone's motivated by power. What's the common denominator here? Exactly. So, it's tricky because lots of people in my family have been divorced, which is the case in virtually every family, and I don't feel like I'm in a position to shake my finger at people and say, you failed, and with more effort you could have succeeded. That's not up to me to decide. And many of those people have gone on to have more successful relationships the second time around. But that doesn't belie the initial point. And besides, even the people who went through a divorce wanted to get married again, they still see utility in the vow and the container. So, you can't make these things into inviolable absolutes. 0 divorce, 0 drugs, 0 climate change. No, that isn't how the world works. Partly because there's always the snake in the garden, right? There's no 0. Not without the application of increasingly totalitarian force. There has to be some leeway, but you don't blow the whole systems apart just to provide some leeway. It's a very difficult thing to negotiate. I've had clients who had partners that really couldn't be negotiated with. The whole idea of negotiation wasn't negotiable. And I didn't see they really had any choice to either maintain the millstone around their neck and drown or to leave. It's an awful choice, but that doesn't mean that marriage is a prison that no one should ever enter. It just means that things are complicated.